everything you heard about Cooper Flagg before he was drafted was right. Generational, superstar, franchise player, everything was right. Actually, not everything. Because despite being considered a generational prospect, Cooper Flagg was not supposed to be this good this early.
Trip to the basket, turned him away, and then Flagg does bad things.
About Detroit, their 21-5 record. Here comes Coop, and Coop with ill intention!
When Cooper Flagg was drafted, his biggest strength was defense. Comparisons to Scottie Pippen, Andrei Kirilenko, Sean Marion, a 6'9" Swiss Army knife who could protect the rim and hold up on the perimeter against smaller guards. A guy who people saw as one of the best future defenders in the league. What people didn't expect were performances like this, game after game after game in his rookie season, to the point where over his last 30 games, Coop is averaging over 23 points, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, nearly 2 stocks, and is doing it on great efficiency. And it's not just me who's been impressed.
Cooper Flagg, which by the way, we played them last week. My boy is him. Floaters, left hand, right hand, at the cup. Made the game look easy for a 19-year-old. Spectacular.
And what Jaylen Brown said right there is what has been so special about Coop this season. It's not just how many points he's scoring, it's how he's scoring those points. Floaters, hook shots, pull-up jumpers, fadeaways, posters, everything you could hope to see, we are seeing, and we are seeing it every single night. To the point where I don't think people truly realize what we are witnessing. Because not only is he scoring at a ridiculous rate for a rookie, let me remind you, Cooper Flagg is 1 month older than Darren Peterson and AJ DeBanza. Cooper Flagg should be in college right now, but instead chose to reclassify and get drafted earlier. And as a result, he is one of the youngest players in NBA history. And there has only been one other player this age and this productive. Do I even need to say the name? Because even looking at a couple of the other greatest players ever who were drafted as 18-year-olds, look at how their stats compare to Cooper's and LeBron's. Let me say it again, what he is doing is unprecedented. And keep in mind, there are people saying he reclassified to duck this college class because of how good it is.
I look at last year's #1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg. If I was to put him on that list, he would be 6th.
Yeah, the same guy putting up 49 points against NBA teams was scared of college teams, so he had to reclassify. Forget about going top 6 in this year's draft. If you were doing a redraft of the entire NBA, every single player available, Cooper Flagg might be one of the first 6 names picked, given his age and given how good he already is. Because for a guy who people talked about for his defense, way more than his offense, he has been playing like an all-star offensively for the last 2.5 months of the season. Just look at him here against LaMelo. LaMelo cuts off the drive well initially, but look at the handle from Coop. Going between the legs, getting past LaMelo, and with a 7-footer helping over, look at the adjustment mid-air to make that right-handed hook shot. How about this time bringing it up? He gets the switch onto a Kogi and watch him go between his legs before spinning off a Kogi and the left-handed floater. He kind of reminds me of Zion in a sense. Obviously different shapes and sizes and not as freakishly athletic as Zion, but these are guys that have such great handles for guys their size that can get so low to the ground and then shoot up, that can change their angles in midair. Their finishing is great, but what Cooper does, which Zion doesn't do, and so many other players his size can't do, is he has touch with either hand from so many spots on the floor. Honestly, I struggle to find a comparison for Cooper? Who do you see doing this consistently, going between his legs, switching hands in midair, hitting floaters with either hand, left and right, attacking the rim relentlessly, but also having the touch on pull-up jump shots as a 6'9" forward? Again, like on this play where he gets the Gafford screen, but he doesn't attack immediately. Instead, watch him back it out, and against an elite defender, he cooks Tari Eason with that in and out hezzy, and with KD helping over, watch him switch it to the left. You can even see Najee Marshall on that play look back at the bench like, yeah, he really is that nice. And if there is anyone that seems to know just how nice Coop really is, Najee is that guy. And can you blame him? We are watching one of the 2 or 3 best teenage basketball players ever, and with the rate at which he's improving every single game, what's he gonna look like over the last 30 games of the season? Because I showed you his last 30 games, but compare that to his first 19 games of the year and look at the difference. The scariest thing a young player can do is improve at a rapid rate. The scariest thing you can see from a generational prospect is them look completely different from the first 15 games of the season to the last 10 games of the season. He's improving his game on the fly as the best player on an NBA team. And when I say the best player on an NBA team, it's probably worth mentioning Cooper Flagg, at 19 years old, leads the Mavericks in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and is 3rd for blocks. This is someone who is doing everything for this team. And when I say everything, that includes playmaking as well. And maybe we owe Jason Kidd an apology, because it wasn't pretty at first, and it's still not always pretty, particularly when there's not another guard on the floor, but the development we've seen from him as a playmaker, a lot of that has come from him being put into the fire. And now we're seeing him look way more confident, not just closing out games with the ball in his hands as a shot creator, but setting up his teammates with passes like this, where he crosses Vassell, and with Wemby waiting at the rim, look at the wraparound pass, finding Martin on the wing for the 3. And it's this gravity he already has, the ability to just constantly draw defenders to him when he gets into the paint, that is opening up wide open threes for so many players on the Mavs. And honestly, his assist numbers don't reflect how many threes he's creating. Because when you look at his supporting cast, aside from Max Christie and sometimes Klay Thompson, no one on this team is hitting threes. I'm not exaggerating either. The Mavs are literally the worst shooting team in the NBA. And you might be wondering, all this talk about offense, I thought this guy was supposed to be Kevin Garnett defensively. And whilst he started his career a little bit slower on the defensive end of the floor, just like with his offense, you're already starting to see that he has superstar potential on that end as well. Just look at him here against Luka, where Luka blows past Marshall, and who's on the weak side helping over to block that shot at the rim? Or this time, where against the 3-time MVP, as Jokic comes off the pin down, throws it to Jones, gets it back, and who's there to block the layup? Cooper Flagg. And it's not just the blocks as a help defender or the chase down blocks that sometimes look eerily similar to that other guy. How about a play like this, where he gets the switch onto Fox, and with Fox trying to create quickly off the bounce, look how casually he just blocks that pull-up jumper. Cooper Flagg was considered a generational prospect, and even by those standards, the rate at which he's improving, it's unprecedented. And the Mavs, they've done it again. Apparently, they just can't stop getting superstar white guys. It's just the history of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, if you want to hear me talk about a number 1 overall pick that hasn't quite been as good as Cooper Flagg, click here. If you want to hear about the NBA and tanking, click here. Have a great day either way. Subscribe for more content.